Hello everyone, karibuni sana. I hope that all of you are doing well. I want to welcome you to today's webinar. I hope that your day has started off in the right foot, and I want to welcome all of you to the webinar today. We are live, and I see that there are quite a number of people who have already come in. Karibuni sana. I want to welcome each and every one of you who are here. Thank you for tuning in live, and it's quite an exciting day. So before we begin, I just want to acknowledge the guys who have come in. I want to acknowledge especially the very first one who chatted, began the chat. That is Shadrach Kioko. I want to welcome you so much. Karibu sana, Shadrach. It's a pleasure to have you here. George, good morning. Where Africa meets the world, indeed. So karibu sana. Now, I see Mercy is also reacting. It's a beautiful day that the Lord has made. Deep Africa, looking forward to learning a lot from this webinar. Karibu sana. Dan Monio is saying that he's waiting. Karibu Dan. Calgary, karibu sana, finally here. Thank you. I'm glad that you're ready. Collins, karibu. Morton Saulo, nice to see you again. Actually, Calgary and Morton are regulars together with Shadrach. Karibu sana. Marianne Joguna, you're welcome. Good morning. I see Ambani Steven. You are asking whether there's any other link that is not YouTube or FB. Currently, no. We are streaming on Facebook. If you'd like to check us out there, then you can check us out on Facebook. We are streaming directly on both platforms. Lucy, you're welcome. I see John Kamiri. You can't wait to learn from the best. Well, I'm hoping to teach you as much as I can, but I'm here to also learn from you guys, because I know that there's something that you know that I don't know, and we are here to learn from each other. And so thank you for tuning in, and I hope to learn something from you, John, as well. Yes, I see. I hope all of you are catching us correctly. In case you're having any issues, now today, if you're here, if you are regular, you will notice that there are a few things that may be slightly different. We are trying out a different software for streaming that allows us to stream on multiple channels. It allows for chats to come up as they come along. And so, in case you notice any issues, just let us know, and we are going to resolve them together. But you will notice that, for instance, chats are going to be popping up as we proceed, placing them right above my head. So if you probably do a chat, you're going to see it popping up somewhere there. Yes, and part of trying to improve ourselves as we go along. So I'd like us to begin today's webinar, and today's webinar is focused on how to build an online shop in Kenya. Now, the focus being Kenya, because there's a lot of content out there, a lot of content that speaks about how to build a website, how to build an e-commerce website. And I'm sure if you Google and even go to YouTube, you'll find a lot of them there. But the thing that there's a differentiator between them and the content we're doing today is that most of them do not have specifically content about how to build it with the Kenyan context, with things like integrating payments, like with things like M-Pesa, because most of the payments that exist, most of them are geared for the US market, and a number of them, actually many of them, do not work for us here. And so in today's webinar, actually today and tomorrow, we are going to be focusing on how to create a difference, where we are able to create an online shop that works from end to end, that somebody can be able to buy a product and go all the way to the end, view the product online, be able to view the attributes, view related products and so on, proceed to the checkout, finish checkout, make payment through M-Pesa, through something called SDK push, where someone just gets a notification on their phone to just enter their PIN, and then you get notified of the order immediately after that. So that's a focus of today's webinar, and I'm really excited about it today because I think you guys are going to learn a lot. If you are a person who has tried to build an online shop before and probably have found it confusing, I'm going to try and simplify it here. As I've said, we are all learning from each other, and so even as we begin today's webinar, if you have something that you'd want to contribute or ask a question or make a contribution that is going to add to the value of our discussion today, I welcome you to do it, because I do not pretend to know all things. Again, I have done this for quite a while. I've built websites for quite a while, but I do not pretend to know everything about web design. And so I'm welcoming your views so that we are able to build one another's knowledge, and we're able to make ourselves better as we move along. So before I proceed, probably I just want to talk about what I mean by an online shop. Now, again, I'm sure you've interacted with the likes of big brands, Amazon, Jumia, and that's what I mean by an online shop. Basically, a shop where you're able to put a product, and that product you're able to view the product, the price, the attributes. You're able to click on buy now and add it to your cart. And once you add it to your cart, then you're able to, after that, proceed to make payment for it, and you're able to choose deliveries. So we're going to talk about things like deliveries and so on. How to set up that, how to basically create your own logistics, figure out your own logistics. And I think we can then engage in the discussion of who the best provider would be in terms of providing logistics. That we're going to cover more tomorrow than today. And so basically the gist of this is that we want to build a shop that looks, but that functions like the likes of Jumia, the likes of Amazon, the likes of these big players that you're able to place a product and have its attributes, and that you can be able to buy that product online. Now, why is this important? I think all of us understand the season we are in. The COVID-19 environment has created a few challenges for us within the Kenyan context. The pandemic has created a situation where people are locked in. You're not able to visit malls. Malls have been getting very low attendance, low visitor counts, and it creates a challenge for anyone who wants to effectively do business in the ordinary sense. But now the beauty of running an online shop is that whether you have a physical shop or not, and especially if you don't have a physical shop and you're operating probably from your home, you can actually still do business and thrive by presenting your products at the comfort of people's homes. And that's the beauty of it. And I'm sure all of us have had that type of interaction where, especially right now with a lot of Facebook groups being the main way people are interacting and buying products, buying things online is becoming more and more natural. Now, I have a colleague called, let me probably not disparage her name in this case, but there's a colleague, and I think you know yourself because you're watching, that was saying that they would never buy anything online because they don't trust online markets. They don't know whether they're going to be conned or not, and that actually has been one of the big problems with buying things online in Kenya, because there are a lot of you may be a bit anxious about doing online shopping if you're in the Kenyan context, because there have been scams in the past. But now the challenge with holding on to that thinking moving on is that since the world is changing in such a significant way, you may get left behind if you are a business that is not actually selling stuff online, or if you're a person who is not able to make purchases online. You might actually find that your options may start getting limited, because previously the way it was is that you have an unlimited market, which you could go physically visit, but these days you are able to find greater variety being online. So again, I think all of us, I probably am preaching to the choir here because all of you are probably very interested in creating an online experience for your own shops, for your own businesses. And so we're going to get right into it. But I think it's important that we establish the context of why we are doing this webinar today, so that you will not find you start off with the right foot and with the right level of urgency as to whether you should do it now. If you are debating whether you should do it now or later, my advice is that start right now, because the more you delay, the worse it's going to be in the long run, because things may not be as things are not going to be things are only going to get more the online world is only going to expand, and so if you don't get into that game right now, you might actually start losing out. Okay, so before I go on too far, I just want to talk about who Deep Africa is. If you're viewing us for the first time, we probably have you haven't interacted with us as a brand. Just want to explain who we are as a company. We are an online solutions company whose mission is to provide the world with the opportunity to get online. So basically, our mission is to get the world online. And we do this through a variety of solutions. The variety of solutions, they include web design, web hosting, domain names. We do capacity development, like what we are doing now. We basically would like to in part of getting the world online, one of those things, one of the ways we enable that is by allowing for people to learn how to do these things so that they can be able to do them for themselves. And we also then have apps and systems, which I'm going to touch on a bit within this webinar series in between today and tomorrow. The reason why we do this is because there is a lot of power in the internet, and we want to be able to allow you as a business owner, as an individual, to leverage the power of the internet to be able to bring value for yourself and your family, be able to provide for yourself and your family, and also provide value to your clients. And so that's the reason why we do these things. We do them because it's an important thing. I think it's something crucial to be able to have, for you to have the tools, have the right tools to be able to take on the world. As the world becomes more and more complicated, we are here to help you with some of the complicated technical stuff so that you can do what you do best. So in terms of even with online shops, we want to make it easy for you as an individual, that you don't have to have a very complicated life in doing it. So if you don't have the budget to do it, watch this video and have it and understand how to create an online shop. If you have the budget for it, you can engage us as professionals to design the website and the online shop for you. And basically, you can concentrate on what you're really good at, and we can take care of it for you. So there it is. So as we proceed, I just want to mention one last thing. But before I do so, if you have questions, I encourage you to post the questions that you have as we proceed within the, as I say something, if there's something that catches your mind, just write it down, just in case you forget it, just post it on the comments so that I can be able to address. I'll be taking short breaks to answer questions as I proceed. Now, the final thing that I just want to mention is that we are going to be providing a free, well, not really free, but a huge discount for anyone who wants to follow along with what we are doing. So the discount we are providing is one of 50%. Just go to deepafrica.com and start a chat with us and ask for 50%. So 50% off .co.ke hosting to allow you to be able to follow. So you're going to get hosting and domain to be able to allow you to follow along with what we are going to be doing, so that you do not just watch it. My intention is that you actually watch and learn. Watch, learn, and do, so that we do it together. So in case you're watching this, just in case you're watching this as a recorded video, that discount is not available for anyone who was not in the live webinar. I'm sorry. But you can be able to sign up for that later on, and I'm speaking to the future, anyone who is watching this in the future. But right now, if you are watching this right now and you'd want to follow along, you can just go and chat with us and just ask for your domain name. You'll just pay 50% of what the normal cost is. Okay. So let's get started. So if you had tuned in for the very first webinar we'd done some time back, the webinar was focused on creating a website, on how to create a website. So that's the main lesson that we are providing is how can you be able to create a website for yourself, like on creating a website from scratch. And that's the thing that we had started doing. So initially what we did is that we created a shop, and I'm sure you can remember this. Weddingdress.co.ke is the shop that we created, and not really the shop, it's the website that we created at that time. We also went on ahead and did a bit of SEO classes using the same domain name. And so as we are going to be building our website, we're going to be building the website based on the lessons that we learned from on how to build a WordPress website, like the way we did on this particular thing, on this particular website. So as whatever we're going to be building on is going to be again, I think on that first webinar I had touched a bit on what how to build an online shop. I touched on it a bit. Today we're going to be diving a bit way deeper into it, so that we can be able to learn. So so if you guys remember this shop, we had created an online presence for a brand. This is a fictitious brand, Wedding Dress Kenya, weddingdress.co.ke. Now, the brand we created was one where you can be able to sell wedding dresses online, and we had basically done the very basic. Now, if you do not understand how to get to this step, we have taken, we did a whole week where we went step by step on how to create, how we created this. And probably you can just check on our YouTube channel. You'll find, and I think even after the end of this, training, I'm going to provide you with the basic, how would you call it? We're going to provide you with the link to that webinar, so you're able to follow along to get to this point. Now I'm going to touch a bit on this but I'm not going to go as in depth as I did on that other webinar. So just in case there are things that may not make sense on how we got here, you can watch that. Again, I'll try to make it simple for you that is watching right now, that you do not have to like go back to watch that for you to be able to watch this. But it will be important for you to watch that to gain a full understanding of what we have done. Okay, so when you have a domain name like this, now when you already have a domain name like this, it's easy for you to proceed to be able to build an online shop. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a step back. And the step back is going to be to allow you to understand how we got here, how we got this, and I'm going to go through it quickly so that we all can be able to catch up. So the way you get, the way you can get to this point involves a number of steps. So the steps would include first looking for choosing your domain name and getting web hosting together with it, and I'm going to show you how that is done. And that's one step of being able to get here. But again, one of the other steps of being able to get here would involve like planning your content and being able to establish like what exactly how exactly is your content going to be organized, what photos are you going to use, things like those. And those are things that we're going to discuss. So I don't get ahead of myself. I would like us to just go through the steps in preparing your shop, because now in day one, today being day one, we are going to be talking about preparing to get your shop online, because preparation is the most important part of anything that you do. Like you need to be able to prepare effectively to be able to be effective in whatever you're going to do. So the preparation stage, in the preparation stage, there are some really crucial parts that you need to think about before you actually even buy the domain name. And so I'll talk about a few things. Now, the assumption that I'm having right now is that you already have the rest of your content. You've already built your about page and like figured out like what you're going to do about the about page, like describing who you are. You've already figured out like how you're going to arrange like your home page and what the features you want it to have. Now, if this is going to be primarily an online shop, then the home page is going to have a lot of these products, and I'm going to show you how to put them there. But this already assumes that you already have content for your website, so we are now thinking about content for your shop. Now, in preparing content for your shop, now in the preparation for getting your shop online, you need to have one of the most important things, and that's the reason I've started with it: product photos. You need to have product photos available for you to be able to effectively like market yourself online. Without good product photos of the products that you are selling, it's possible that you're going to your clients are going to miss some crucial bits and probably not trust you as much. Now, something that we had mentioned before in previous webinars, and I just want to mention it here, is that when somebody visits a website, they are asking themselves two important questions. The two questions they are asking themselves is, one, can I trust you? Can I trust this website that I've come to? Is the website trustworthy? Do I have anything that would make me want to suspect these guys? Is there something that they are doing that looks shady? And again, you may be doing things that you may not think of as shady, but someone may actually be thinking of them as shady because you seem not to be coming out like forthrightly, and you may not have thought about it. And I'm going to describe some of them here. And so the first question they're asking themselves is, can I trust you? And the second is, do you have what I want? Those are the main two questions that people are asking themselves when visiting your website. Do you have what I want, and can I trust you? And product images are the most crucial part of making your shop trustworthy. If you want somebody to be able to trust the shop that you have, you need to have authentic images. You need to have images that reflect your actual product. That when somebody is actually looking at the product itself, they feel that you're trying to replicate the same experience that this person would have when they go to an actual shop. When they go to an actual physical mall and they look at the product and look at the texture. So you want to make sure that your images can be zoomed into, especially for like product photos, that they are not blurry, that they have high resolution, that somebody can be able to zoom really deeply into it and examine that product, because you want to replicate the same experience that that person would have if they come to an actual physical shop. You want to enable them to be able to do the caveat emptor, buyer beware. You want them to be able to examine that product. And the thing about it then, in that case, is that if you're going to have something like that, if you're going to have like an online like viewers who are going to like examine your product, you need to make sure that product you're marketing is the same thing that they're going to get delivered when they're going to come to the shop itself. You want to make sure that it's the same thing that is going to be delivered to them. So when you're taking product photos, make sure you take the product photos of the product itself, not of the ideal product as it would be. It's better if you take the product itself, so that when the person comes and sees that product, they're going to be able to view it, like see that it's the same thing that they ordered for. I remember in my own experience of shopping online, and probably you've had the same experience yourself, where let me actually mention specifically. I had bought a phone and together with a cover, and so the phone was okay. That phone was okay, but the cover itself had a different pattern from what I had bought, and it did not look like what it looked like on the photo. And so, okay, number one, I was very frustrated. I was angry with the client. I was wondering what exactly is going on, no, angry with the supplier. I mean, I'm not sure what exactly was going on. And so I called as an angry client and actually had to return that cover, and they had to take it back. And that's one of the things that you need to be careful about. If you're sending products which are going to be rejected, you either have to take it back, or your online shop is going to take a hit because of things like reviews and so on. So product photos, I cannot emphasize enough how important product photos are in preparing for your online preparing your online shop. Now, in taking your product photos, it doesn't have to be very complicated. Now, the phones that we have these days, these phones have a lot of capability. They have good, decent cameras. It may not be as good as a really high-end DSLR camera, but it would be good enough if you're able to have good lighting, like lighting that allows for that product to shine. So the requirements that you need to be able to take a good product photo, the first would be that you need to have a good enough camera. Now, anything that can be able to take photos like at around 3,000, 4,000 megapixels, 3,000 pixels, 3,000 by something. If it can be able to take like a length of 3,000 and above, I think like most phones can be able to take, I think, even about 5,000 wide and height of about, let's say, 2500 pixels. You can just check your phone and view at the settings and make sure that the settings are at the highest level. That's if you don't have a professional camera. Then the other thing you may need to have, now there are a couple of things which you may use. Again, if you want to set up your own DIY setup, you can do a DIY setup where you have just a normal, okay, let me explain. Like you see, it's a part of this background that I'm on. You can see this background. It's sort of like the same color to the paper I want to describe. So you know the paper that we normally have for like doing like training, like on like physical seminars, the big flip chart paper that is white. You can use that, put that, like pin that. Let me just turn this just a bit so that we can be able to view the wall. So like, okay. So on a wall like this, make sure that you have a table like right here. Let me try and expand my camera so that you can be able to see what I'm talking about. Sorry, I think my lighting is not the best, but here we are. So on a wall like this, you'd want to put, like, you have a table, and then you pin that one piece of that paper onto the wall, and then allow it to drape onto the table. So it's draping onto the table, and that's basically to take the photo. So you place the product on the table, but the background is that paper. So it creates a seamless curve, so there are no corners, so it's just creating a seamless curve. And what that allows you to do, I think that improves my brightness a bit. So what that allows you to do is, it allows you to take a photo that has like a seamless background that is, so someone won't be able to see corners, and corners is where like shadows lie. And then the other thing that you're going to do is you look for just the basic lights. So I'm sure you've seen these D-Light desk lamps. I'm giving you a way of being able to do this DIY. I'm going to show you a bit of a more professional setup for your product photos, but this is the DIY, like the cheapest way you can go. So you see the D-Light lamps, the small D-Light lamps, the ones that are like powered by the sun, the solar powered. You can get like 2 or 3 and place them to just illuminate the product from different angles. Now that should give you decent enough light. If you don't have that, if you don't have those 2 lamps, just get that paper and be near a window and just photograph near a window. That light should be sufficient enough to take like nice photos. Now that's the DIY setup. If you want to do something a bit more professional, you may want to look for, now I've not seen Kenyan vendors, and I'm thinking probably if you know any one of these, probably you can comment to help the rest of the community that is watching this. But I've seen a few DIYs, a few more professional setups on Alibaba. So let me just get that for you. Just Googling that quickly. Let me just get that for you just now. In the meantime, if you have a question, please post it. Post it on the comment section. I think it will help the community if you're able to ask a question. Probably somebody else may not have thought about it, and you'll be helping everyone along the way as well. Okay. So in part of the reason why I'm emphasizing on this so much is that if you do not have good product photos, you're going to find yourself not performing as well as you should, because product photos tend to tell a person that this person is professional versus that this person is the kind of photos that they are producing. The photos would say that this person is a professional who has really good, who knows their job and I can trust them, versus this person, I'm not sure that I can trust this person. Think about it. Have you ever gone to a supermarket that is poorly lit? You'll notice that, like, let's say today, if you went to like a supermarket, just go to one of our supermarkets, any one of the supermarkets in Kenya, you'll find that they are extremely well lit, and that's deliberate. The reason why they are very well lit is because a lot of light enhances trust. When somebody is when somebody in, when there's a lot of light, it enhances the trust that someone has versus if there was no light, if there was low light. In the same way that we are afraid of going into like dark alleys, it makes us scared to get into dark alleys. That's one of the things that's one of the reasons why you need to think about like having product photography. So just Alibaba, I don't know whether you can be able to find this probably on AliExpress. If it results to this, then you can go there, and probably if there's somebody who knows how to get this this particular product within Kenya, who is already doing this within Kenya, I would love you to just tell us on the comments. But this is one of the products that I was talking about, where you're able to take a photo. It's a box that has lighting within it, and you're able to take photos within that particular box. It has it allows you to take product photos like this, because the box is well lit in the inside. So just go and look for like portable photo cube, something like that. You will be able to find that probably on AliExpress. That may take you about a month to get it delivered here, but that's probably an option for you. Now, the challenge with this particular setup that I'm recommending for, both the setup that I recommended earlier, like the smaller setup that I recommended earlier, and this particular setup, is that it has very low, it allows for very small pictures. It does not allow for very large pictures. If you have very large objects, products, if you have very large objects like, let's say clothes, that require like someone to be dressed, you may need to go and like dress a model. Let's say if you're having let's say even for my example, like the wedding dress website, I may not be able to use what I've recommended to be able to take photos of that because it's too big. Now, what I would do in this case is find a model who I can use and have them dress in the different photos, in the different like clothes, and take them to a photo shoot. Now, just go to a studio. They are going to, I think they may probably charge you. You can negotiate. It may cost roughly around 1,000 to 2,000 shillings for multiple dress changes. So have that model, have all of your clothes. They do the different changes. You take different angles for every piece of item of clothing, and then use those photos for your website. Now that does cost a bit more money, but again, I cannot emphasize how important photos are. So you better spend that money, because if you go cheap on getting that, you may find yourself not being able to achieve the objective that you're having if you do not take photos seriously. So please take that a bit seriously. It's something that is really crucial for you to do. So I have a question here by Collins Juma, and let me just mention a few people who have come in like later on. Shadrach, unfortunately, the discount does not apply for renewals. It's for anyone who wants to just buy something new. So yeah. Then Epsoil, Espiol. I hope I say that name correctly. Karibu sana. Karibu sana. Yes, we are live. Dominic is saying that he's tuned in. Karibu sana. Collins is asking, does Africa provide cPanel support for Python applications such as Django with PostgreSDB? Now, unfortunately, many of our servers are shared. Actually, they are within a shared environment, and most of what you're requiring would require either having like full root access, So that is not supported within these servers. What I would recommend is thinking about getting a VPS. That may work for you, but currently it's not possible to support that. Now, I want to proceed and say, I've talked about photos, and I've talked about this for quite a while, and it's a really important thing. But the other thing that we need to be really keen on is, after we've talked about photos, after you've gotten good product photos, the next thing you need to have are product descriptions that are well descriptive. You need to have a very good title, a title that allows someone to understand what the product is. Now, the one thing about the title is that it's something that is viewed even before someone views the description. So let's say if someone was just browsing through your website, they are going to view the product title and be intrigued to look at that product a bit more. So they're going to see, actually the main things that someone sees when they're just browsing through, the things that they see are, the first would be the product photo, the main featured image for that product. Then the next one would be the product title, and then the price. So those are very crucial bits that you need to have. And so in terms of product description, you need to describe first the title. The title needs to be very clear. You need to have a very clear title of what this dress is, for instance. Probably like if it has like multiple colors, you need to mention that within the title. If there are very many colors, again, it depends on the industry you're in. Sometimes that may not be important, sometimes it might be. But you need to provide a title that is descriptive enough that somebody will be able to get in, want to view more about the product, or actually go directly to the shopping cart from viewing what that product is. So that's an important part. But over and above that, you need to have two descriptions. So I'm going to show you this as we proceed. Within the website itself, there's going to be a slot for main long description that explains a lot about the product, where you can be able to describe the features, the benefits, the specifications of whatever product you're having. But then there's a slot where you place a short description, and the short description is what normally is viewed like right next when you're viewing a product, right next to when you're viewing, like once you get into the product store, there's going to be the picture and then the description. And so the short description basically gives a bit of a snippet, and I'm going to show you that directly. So when preparing your product description, I see your question, Peter. I'm going to answer it as we go along. So when you're creating your product description, you need to ensure that product description is helping you convince the person of the questions that we had at the beginning. And the question was, do you have what I want, and can I trust you? So you need to be able to place text within that description that helps somebody get assured that this is what I was looking for. Answering the question, do you have what I want? Yes, that this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need to buy. And number two, can I trust you? So you need to be able to place some trust, add some trust within there. Things like saying that we offer like a money back guarantee. That's if you return this product, we'll give you back your money. That's an option that is there. Or that it comes with 5 years warranty, something like that. And then being able to place, answering the question that your description needs, both your short description and your long description, it should not just be talking about here are the products and just the specifications. It actually needs to go deeper. Even as you're talking about the features, it needs to be able to assure the person who is viewing it that I can be able to trust this person. I can be able to trust them with like when I'm going to be making payment, I'm making payment to the right person, and that I can be able to this is the product that I want, and I can trust these guys to provide this for me. So with the product descriptions, again, it varies depending on the kind of industry you're in. If you're just selling like general merchandise like unga, there's not much to describe in there. So your product descriptions may be short. If you're doing something new, like a novel product that is not known around, you may probably want to add video into that, and the platform you're going to be using will have that capability within it. You want to be able to add like things like descriptions of people who have used it in the past, testimonials in the longer description. In the short description, you may probably want to make something smaller, that is not as complicated, but still achieves that same goal. I don't know whether what I'm saying makes sense, but I'm going to help you see that practically when you start creating it. So I think I'm going to discuss product descriptions a lot more. We'll get back there when we start doing it practically with you. But the other thing you need to think about are product categories and relationships. Then this is all of these things you're doing before you get your domain and hosting. So thinking about the product categories, let's say you have a lot. Let's say even for my own shop, the shop that I'm showing, there's the first part is like wedding dresses is what I'm selling. So there's wedding dresses. Then after that, there are shoes and accessories. So let's say, actually I've done those categories up here. Let's see. So these are the categories that I'd created. Now they are wedding dresses, they are bridesmaids dresses, they are wedding accessories, they are gown rentals, and wedding shoes. Now the reason it's important to figure out what these categories are is because it will help you organize your website right from the get-go. There's nothing as frustrating to you as a designer as you design your own website as figuring out that you missed a really crucial relationship or missed important categories and miscategorized certain items, and you have to go back. Let's say you have, like 60 products or 70 products, but you have to go back to every one of those products and give them the right category. Now there are ways of going around that, but it's important you save yourself of that pain ahead of time. So you will save yourself a lot of pain if you categorize your products early on. Now it may be useful to create something like an Excel sheet. Now if you create like an Excel sheet that has just a basic outline of the products that you have and the categories, it may actually help you like concretize it in your mind. I'll do a short demonstration of how that would work. So let me actually just open up a quick spreadsheet so that we can be able to follow along, and I'll show you what I'm doing with it. So okay, here we go. So for instance, the way I would do it, if this was my shop and I was trying to figure out how to organize things, I would create this. The first tab would be the categories that I want to place. So for instance, let's say I want to start off with, I can actually go with examples that I'm using myself. So wedding dresses. So that's the first one. Okay. So I have wedding dresses. So these are my categories. I have bridesmaids dresses. Now trying to think through all the different categories of my products. So I have accessories. Probably like shoes probably would be considered different from accessories. So shoes. Then probably would have like gown rentals. Then I would okay, so let's actually like have that as our first area of focus. So the next one would be guys, I'm seeing your questions and thank you. Continue posting them. I'm going to come and address all of them together, and I think you can see your questions popping up as we go along. So I am seeing them. I'm not ignoring them. I'm going to be answering them just now as we proceed. So now with those categories, I would then go and add like an extra sheet. Now this extra sheet is going to be, if I don't have too many categories here, I can have each of the sheets just having every product. And I'm doing this especially if you're having a lot of products that you have in mind, Now this is going to be a useful process to go with. So let's say I would name this like wedding dresses specifically. Now this would be if you don't have a lot of product categories. If you have a lot of product categories, I would actually go a bit of a different way. But so wedding dresses, and just basically just list out like I don't know too much about wedding dresses. I should probably educate myself more. I know there's a wedding dress called sheath wedding dress. And probably this may even be considered a subcategory, but we have like let's say by Mona Lisa. Let's say it's called the Mona Lisa. So again, remember, by the way, with categories that we've placed like this, you'd probably want to have subcategories, because like right now, as I've discovered that I have like a category called like the wedding dresses, but underneath there are a number of other a number of other like subcategories. I'd want to probably indicate those within this. And so again, the reason why we are doing all of this is it helps you like get your mind in order. It helps you to understand what like be able to organize your products. You can do this probably even on a sheet of paper. That's fine. But it's important that you get your mind in order before you start building the website. Because if you do not do that before you start building the website, especially a complicated website like an e-commerce website, you are going to start like regretting it once you are at the tail end of the build. So I'll list out all of the products, all of the different products that I have on every one of the categories, and then I would then go on and like write out what the prices are. It may be important to write out the prices in here. The reason you're doing all of this is just to get your mind in order, get it together, get it in a place so that it is, get your mind in a place that you are able to move quickly once you start doing the build, rather than starting to think as you build. Because thinking as you build may not be a very good idea. You can do that. Sometimes I have done that, but I've found that the best way of moving is when you have your mind all set together. Now with that, then you can then go and create. Now you can go create the product descriptions on their own. Like you can probably even create a small like Word file, or even like a Google Doc, small Google Doc for every one of the products, just having a description for every one of the products. Now by doing this, it allows you to, when you start building, you won't have to be thinking, do I add a video in here, or is there something I'm missing? Have I missed? It allows you to have a very clear message. You'll be very clear on how exactly you're going about it, other than doing the reverse, where you're building as you think. I hope that helps. Let me take a short break and just answer a few of the questions that are in here. Peter Oluch has asked, you're asking whether you'll be able to receive payments from Asia, Europe, Americas as you sell your products. Yes. Now there are different ways. So the reason we are doing M-Pesa is because most clients are selling within the Kenyan market. But if you want to do, actually, I'll give you the answer right away because you seem like you already have a bit of an idea. You will want to do get your payment integration with a company like PesaPal. Now, PesaPal provides integration that is that allows you to have like Visa, MasterCard, and M-Pesa also combined. The problem with using PesaPal is that there are fees associated with using those services, as compared to if you used like a plugin like the one we have for M-Pesa. That is, you just pay for the plugin, and the transactions are directly between you and Safaricom themselves. So yes, I will show you how to like add the PesaPal plugin into this, but you need to use PesaPal instead of like the normal way that I'm going to be showing within this webinar. I hope that answers your question. Peter, in case I've not answered your question accurately, please let me know so that I can be able to just clarify a bit more. So Marianne Jogona is asking, let me just read through. So you're asking, sometimes back when WooCommerce started, one was able to add two was able to post a product on Facebook and integrate them with WordPress via pixels. Recently, when I made a new website, I wasn't able to do it. Is this still possible? Now, again, I think I may not be completely aware of that integration. I hadn't used that in the past, so I'm sorry I may not be able to answer that question completely accurately. But I would say this: I would avoid mixing them up together unless you're probably trying to sell your product you're trying to sell your product directly on Facebook and trying to get the client to come to your website. So you're probably doing an ad. And what I understand the pixel to be, so unless probably I'm understanding it wrong, Marianne, a pixel is usually like a follow-up code, a code that allows you to be able to tag somebody who was on Facebook and be able to relate who that person is when they come to your own website. So if that's the case, then I would actually say that add your products within WooCommerce, which is what you're going to be using. When you add your products within WooCommerce, probably promote them out through Facebook. And WooCommerce has started having a number of avenues where you can be able to market yourself on Facebook from within WooCommerce, and probably you can test those out for yourself. But my recommendation would be in full control. I am not very trusting of Facebook when in that regard, like giving away the right to like being able to put my products. I would not want to put my products myself personally on Facebook itself. I would rather market my product on Facebook but get the client to come back on my website. Now that's my own approach. Again, I am not sure that I've answered your question completely accurately, Marianne. Please clarify on whether I have been able to give a bit of direction. But yeah. So you're asking, how can I avoid Universe Explorer? How can one avoid spamming on a high traffic e-commerce website? By spamming, probably you can clarify this, Universe Explorer. Are you talking about like spamming on like comments? Is it reviews? Is it like fake purchases that are not actual, like somebody who is making like an order that is fake? Please clarify so that I can be able to answer accurately. Now, one of the ways that one of the tools that WordPress itself provides is a plugin called Akismet. It's a spam prevention plugin that is useful in terms of being able to help reduce spam. Again, please clarify. I would like to answer that question in a bit more of a direct way to help you like solve the problem you're having. So, but the general way that you would prevent spam within WordPress itself is using Akismet. I'm sure that's the way it's pronounced. But it actually comes bundled usually, but you need to configure it to be able to allow for spam protection. Now, in case that's not working for you, Google Recapture has some really useful tools that can be integrated within the e-commerce website. So I would probably explore that direction. First start with Akismet, then try to ramp it up a notch with like Google Recapture. It's become really intelligent these days. It's able to identify who is a bot and who is not. But please help me understand what you mean by spam, so that I'm able to answer your question accurately. Okay, so I'd like us to proceed now to the next step in this process. As you're building out your website, after you've established your product categories and the relationships. Okay, something I didn't mention about relationships is how do the products relate with each other? For instance, I'm sure you've probably seen when you're shopping online, when somebody says that customers also buy, or customers also like the following, and you're able to place products. It's important as you're thinking about your products, you think about like what other product would this person be interested in buying in addition to what they are currently viewing, and you can be able to place those products down there. Now, thinking about that ahead of time will allow you to create those relationships as you add the products, rather than doing it after you've already added the products, which becomes a bit of a pain in the neck. This actually will become quite a pain in the neck if you don't do it as you're adding the products along the way. So that's relationships. So finally, at that point, then you need to think about getting the domain name and hosting, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. And now we're actually going to get into the building, into the very fast steps of building the website. I'm going to stop at installing WordPress and installing the right plugins. That's where I'm going to stop, and that's most likely going to be by around like 10:15, 10:20. I want to encourage you to post your questions now. Tomorrow we are going to be covering now how to set up WooCommerce. Now, because we're going to set up WooCommerce, there are plugins that we're going to set up. One of them is called WooCommerce. How to set up WooCommerce the Kenyan way, to be able to allow for like the Kenyan way of doing business. That's going to be where we're going to pick up from. Yeah, so that's the way we're going to go about it. So let's think about domain names. Now, for a domain name, you probably already have a website. If you already do, then you already have a domain name and hosting. You don't need to add any extra on top of it. My advice to you, if you already have a domain and hosting and you already have a website, is that you use that to power your shop. Now you can probably do something like a subdomain. So let's say shop dot. Let's say your company. Let's say you are. Let's think about a company that is not really like directly selling products. Let's say you are an NGO, for instance, but this NGO deals like in the agricultural scene, and so you probably have products that you sell on top of like the other things you do. I would recommend in that case that you set up a subdomain. So like you do shop.yourdomainname.com, and creating a subdomain is something that I believe I've actually even created a tutorial on this on the YouTube channel. But it's quite simple. If you're having challenges, you can just contact us. We can show you how it's done. So you create a subdomain, like let's say shop.yourdomainname.com, so that it's a separate entity. That's your shop. That's where the shop is located. Now, if you don't have a domain name at all and you're starting this afresh and you're starting from scratch, a few tips about choosing a domain name. Number one, make sure that domain name is not too long. It's not a very long domain name. It should not be too lengthy. If you're buying a domain name that has like, let's say even 20 characters, now again, people these days Google things a lot, so it may not really matter that it has that many characters. But the problem is that you'll not be able to brand. It's not very brandable. Let's say you're on social media, you won't be able to place it on your your artwork. If it's a very long domain name, you won't be able to place that domain name on your artwork because it's too long. I have a client who had chosen a really long domain name, and again, it may work for them in that sense, but they will come up with issues later on. Like you can imagine placing a very long domain name on a business card. Now think about how emails would look like Anthony.Njoroge at thisismybusinessthatIreallyLove.com. That's a really long domain name. And so you'll have trouble like integrating it into the rest of your brand. So choose a short domain name that is memorable. Again, don't go more than try to get like 5 characters is gold. About 10 characters would be like a good place to have. That's a good place to restrict yourself within. So that's one thing. Choose a domain name that is short. The other thing about domain names is that they should not have hyphens within themselves. You can buy a domain name with hyphens if you choose, but I would advise against it because if you're trying to say it, let's say you go on radio. Let's say you are blessed that your business goes on radio, and you can imagine like if we ourselves were going to say that go to deep-africa.com. Now, when somebody is trying to type that, they may actually type the word hyphen within it. Because they do not understand that there's a difference in there. The hyphen is a separator. So I would say have all of the text in one. So the way we've put two words together, Deep Africa as one. Now again, this is part of our branding where we say deepafrica.com. This is part of having it as one word. But when it is a domain name itself, like the way I've done with weddingdress.co.ke, make it short. Now the other, put the words together and try to make it as short as you can. The other thing that you need to be careful about, other than avoiding hyphenation, is you are asking. Someone is asking. I'm thinking this is Uganda. How you can add MTN, mobile money payments, to your e-commerce. Now, to be honest, I'm not sure. SPO, I'm sure you're asking this from Uganda. I would imagine that there are Ugandan developers who have figured out how to solve that puzzle piece. But if MTN mobile money works the same way that M-Pesa does, I'll show you a trick on how to do it, on how to make sure that you still get your payments even if you don't have a plugin that works specifically for that. It's going to be a bit of a workaround. It's not going to be as easy as if you already had the mobile integration mechanism, but it should work for you as you try to figure out how to get like an actual plugin that works for you there. But I've not interacted with the Ugandan market too much, so I may not be able to offer the best advice for you, SPR. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Just let me know if I am. Okay. So the other thing I was mentioning is, other than avoiding hyphenation, like doing wedding-dress.com, I don't know whether you can see like what I'm doing here. I'll try and zoom in for you guys. So the other thing you probably want to avoid, other than hyphenation, is having like double words that fit into each other. So for instance, let me give an example of wedding gown.co.ke. This is not a good domain name because it has two different G's that are next to each other, which are part of different words. This is not a good domain name to have because it will give, it may confuse people. People may wonder, do I put double G, wedding gown? Am I going to put double G, or is it just one G? Because somebody may actually choose to have it as wedding gown. There's a clever play on words where the final G and the first G are coming together. And that's something that, I don't know, it seems like an interesting way to go. But I would avoid choosing a domain name like this because it may confuse people. So those are just a few pointers on choosing a domain name. Then with hosting, what kind of hosting do you need when you're doing an online shop? Definitely you need hosting that has a lot of space. When you're getting web hosting, you'll need to think about like how much space are they providing you with? Is it going to be enough to for all the photos you're going to have? And it's very possible that you may not have. It's possible that you may not have. If you choose hosting that is too small, you may not have enough. Enough space to store to have all of your photos. Remember, you're going to be having a lot of product photos in there, so you need to look for a solution that that does not have a lot of restriction in terms of space, or if it does have restriction in terms of space, it's not one that is too restricted. Just a moment, I'm just trying to pull out something for you. So just make sure that the domain name that you're going to get is the hosting you're going to get is not too restricted in terms of space, because if it's too restricted, you may find yourself having to upgrade before your time period expires, and that usually is a bummer. Having to upgrade before your time period expires usually may not be like one of the best situations to be in. Yeah, so let me just walk you through like with our own hosting. Now, this is the offer that I was telling you that is at 50% off. So you're going to get this at 50% off. But the web hosting that we are providing, as you're starting off, you may be okay starting off with Kwanza. What does Kwanza provide? Now, you remember I was talking about like having space that is not restricting you. So like for instance, for this, Kwanza specifically provides for unlimited web space. What this means is that you can have as much web space, as much content on your website as you need to be able to power your website without it being restricted. And so this is one of the like platforms you may probably like want to use. I just want to readjust this back to what it was. Just a moment as I do so. Okay, so I trust that all of you can be able to see, like efficiently see the screen. And there we go. I trust that should be okay. So with the website hosting that we are providing, it allows you to have unlimited web space that will be sufficient for the kind of use that you would have. Then, Shadrach, you've mentioned that you'll have to leave because you have another meeting. Thank you so much for coming in for the webinar. I appreciate you coming along. You've been quite a supportive member of the training people who have been people who are receiving training. So thank you so much, Shadrach. Have a lovely day. So the other thing about why this is this would be a good package for you to start off with is that it will provide you with unlimited subdomains. I think that is provided somewhere. Actually, that's not mentioned within this, but unlimited subdomains, which means that you will be able to create as many subdomains as you need. Let's say you have a test subdomain that you're trying, then you have your shop subdomain. It won't restrict you in terms of the number of subdomains that you can have. So this, it also comes with a free SSL, and that's a good thing for you to have. So anyway, it's a good tool for you to be able to use. This particular Kwanza version 3, the hosting. As your website grows, you may probably want to go to expand your capacity to something bigger, and that's something you may consider. But to begin, you probably don't need to have a very big hosting. The Kwanza hosting, our starter package, should be enough to get you started. So just to walk you through the process that got me to get the domain name, I chose. So let's even try the wedding gown. Wedding. Now this is the website. This is the domain name I was telling you not to buy. Probably shouldn't use it as an example. Let's try something else. Let's actually try with the name of one of you guys. So Universe Explorer. Again, double E. Let me use a different name. Peter Oluch. peteroluch.co.ke. You check whether that domain name is available. It will tell you whether that domain name is available. If it is, you'll just click on continue. Just scroll down, click on continue to choose to be able to like choose the hosting. Now you see that it's already been chosen for you. That it's what you're chosen, which is Kwanza hosting. The domain comes free within the product. It just gives you what the summary of the sale would be, and then the next step would be so basically the checkout. So it's confirming to you that you're getting the Kwanza hosting, which has the features I told you about, and the domain name itself. Whether Peter Oluch, I'd recommend that you buy your name. Your name is available for sale. Someone may take it, like the way I'm going ahead. I'm not going to buy it myself, but just go and try and get the domain name. It may be nice to have your own personal site. So after that, you're going to come and fill in the details, your details in here, and you're going to be prompted to make a payment on M-Pesa, and you're going to have what is called cPanel. Now, once you get cPanel, I want to open the cPanel to wedding dress. Once you've bought your domain name, if I'm going too fast, please stop me. Especially if you don't understand what I'm doing, please stop me so that you do not miss any of what I'm talking about. Just want to make a slight adjustment so that none of these things appear skewed. Okay, there we are. So now once you get the domain name, you'll receive some details within your own email, the email that you use to register, just telling you that you have been able to purchase. You've purchased the domain name, and they're going to give you something called cPanel credentials. So cPanel credentials are basically credentials that allow you to control the domain name that you bought. Now, if you visit your domain name at that point, you'll notice that it will not be having anything within it. Then that's because you've not actually added anything. It's just going to be having generic content in there. That's because you've not added anything, and I'm going to walk you through to be able to get it to a place where you're able to get it has where you have what is called what you have WordPress installed. It actually now is starting to look like a website. So the way that you normally would go to get that is to go to like your domain name. So let's say like mine is weddingdress.com/cPanel. So once you go to the cPanel itself, it should provide you, trying to get that open for you. So the end goal that we are trying to get to at this point is to be able to have like this back end here. What you're seeing here, that's what we are trying to aim for. So once you do like your domain name /cPanel, it's going to redirect and show a window like this, and then the window itself is going to show a place where you can be able to get in. You'll be able to add credentials. Now mine are already pre-added, so I'm going to get into them, and so it's going to be able to show like it's going to give you this panel here. Now I'm going to just turn off my face so that you do not see, I do not block anything. There we are. So once you have this, okay. Yes, Peter, your domain is available. Please buy it before someone gets any idea to buy it and do cyber squatting on it. I just want to answer a quick question someone is asking so that I do not go too far ahead. So you're asking Moniel Sanders. Okay, I'm getting names wrong. I apologize. So Moniel Sadans is asking, like after buying the plan, can you change the primary email, like access the cPanel and client area with a different email? Yes, it's possible to access it using a different email. You'll need to, no, again, let me just mention something. You need to be careful to make sure that the primary email address is correct when you're providing it, because it's a process, especially if you buy a .com domain. It's a process to change those details out to have a different email address. But yes, it's possible. Just make sure the email address you got was correct, because you need to, like for us, you need to send us an official email from that original email asking us to change the official email address from that to that, from the old one to the new one. Now, something about it is that the primary owner of the email is the one that owns the domain. If you have an email address, that's what proves your ownership of the domain. So you need to be very careful, because you may fall into issues if you have the wrong, especially if you've got an email address that does not exist and that you cannot be able to create. You might run into issues later on. But yes, it is possible to do that after you've already bought the domain, to be able to access the cPanel and your email. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I was showing you how to basically how to install WordPress. So every one of our cPanel accounts allows for someone to be able to create a WordPress installation. Now, for this particular case, I'll show you how to create it, and I'll create it on a subdomain. However, in the future, I'm going to show you. I'm doing this because I already have a website that is already here. I don't want to interfere with it, but I'm going to show you how to install it. But for me, I'm going to install it on a subdomain. For you, I'm going to show you where to change that setting so that it's not on the subdomain, that it is on the actual website. But I'm doing mine on a subdomain so that I do not interfere with the site that is there. So Softaculous, you just start typing soft. Softacular, so you will bring the software available. You just come and click on the WordPress icon there. So when you click on the WordPress icon, it should take you to a panel that is able to show you like how to install, like what you need to install. Now, you notice that down here it already shows that I already have something installed, a WordPress website installed on that address. So just for my own sake, I'm just going to quickly create a subdomain. So that I don't confuse you, I'm going to place it on a different tab, so I can just do it quickly. But what you need to do is click on Install Now. It's going to bring you on a panel that looks like that, what you're seeing here. I want to just quickly create a subdomain on my end. Hopefully I'm not going to keep you waiting for long. It should just take me a few seconds to do. Guys, I hope you're learning a lot so far. It's my desire that you'll be learning a lot. If my goal is that by the end of this, that you're going to have something like really good, something nice. So I'm creating the subdomain so that I can be able to use it on this other end, and it's created. Okay. So let me just refresh it here so that those changes will reflect. So I'll click on Install Now. Actually, for the sake of our learning, we are going to install WordPress and install WooCommerce step by step. Then after we've done that, tomorrow we're going to continue from the wedding dress, which is a bit more set up. So once you're on this place, you want to make sure that you install the highest version of WordPress that is available, which is in my case right now today is at 5.4.2, version 5.4.2. Then make sure that you have chosen the HTTPS, which means SSL, that SSL is there. Don't choose the HTTP, because HTTP would mean that your website is not like secured using using an SSL. And I'm just zooming into this so that you can see. I think some of these things may be small. I hope it's clear. I hope all of you guys can see properly. Can see everything that I'm doing. I'm just trying to zoom in as much as I can. So you'll choose the version you want to install as 5.4, well, the highest version that you have. So mine, the highest version is this. You'll know a higher version because like the next version probably would be 5.4.3. Or if they do a major release, it's going to be let's say 5.5. If they do a major release, or if there's an even bigger release, there's going to be a version 6, depending on when you're seeing this. So choose the highest one. So choose HTTPS. Then in this case, like for me, I'm going to install it on shop.weddingdress.com. But if I didn't have a website on the wedding dress website, I would install it here. So I would install it on the weddingdress.co.ke. But in this case, I'm going to install it on shop.weddingdress.com. Make sure that this is left blank. Do not put anything here. It should be blank. If you put anything in here, it's going to install within a subfolder, which is not going to be. You don't want to do that, so just leave that blank. Then you want to come and give the site your site a name. So wedding dress Kenya is my name, the name of this particular site. And then the site description for that wonderful day. For that wonderful day. That's like the site description. Well, just like the subtitle. So like I'll choose the name of the site, and if you have a tagline, like let's say if I was building Deep Africa, I'll do Deep Africa here, Deep Africa Limited, where Africa meets the world, because that's our tagline. Okay, then this is going to be an important part. So like change this from admin to something else. Choose something like I would advise that you use something memorable. Like let's say for me, I can probably call it okay, let me choose like my name. So Anthony. You can probably choose like your name. You can choose like a username that is memorable for your end. Then choose a strong password. Now, for the sake of, since this is going to be online for a while, I'll choose a password. Okay, let me probably proceed with it and then choose a password slightly later. I'm going to change this password for the sake of you being able to see what I'm doing. Make sure that the password is showing as strong. Probably add a number of other characters to just make it stronger. Then make sure you use the email address, an email address that you want these communications to be sent to. Make sure you change this from the default one. I would advise that you use your own personal email address, the one that you normally use. Use that there. Then the rest of the settings you're going to leave as the same, because you most of the other settings are okay as they are, and just click on install. So once it's going to show you that it's creating the site. It may take a few issues in there. Actually, something I left out. It seems like something it did not choose, and this is a good problem. It did not allow me to overwrite over, because it says an installation of WordPress already exists on WordPress.co.ke. Now the problem, let me explain what I did wrong here. I think something went, it did not stick on the shop. It was trying to install it on weddingdress.co.ke here. It was trying to install it on weddingdress.co.ke instead of shop.weddingdress.co.ke. So let's just go back and click install. And you'll see it's starting to, like, it will show this progress bar. It will continue showing until the very end. I'm passing my time. I'll try not to rush too much, but at the same time, just to make sure we finish what we've started here. So it's going to show you that the site was successfully installed, and if you click on this link, it will show you the new site that has been created. Now, especially if you're viewing this within the year 2020, this is the way that the site is going to look initially. If you're viewing this later, probably the default theme has changed, but it's going to look like this initially. Then, if you click on this link here, and so what I'm doing, let me just bring back my photo so I can show you. Just as a quick trick, I'm using, you see the middle mouse button, the scroll wheel here. If you click on it, it opens a new tab, and that's what I've clicked. So I've clicked on it to open a new tab. And it will bring that it will bring the website here. Now, the thing about this particular site, like the way we've done, it's shop.weddingdress.co.ke. For yours, it should be within the main site. When you click on this link, it should take you to the main site. That if somebody came and looked for, let's say, weddingdress.co.ke, they would find. This is what they would find initially. Make sure that that's what you see, because if it's not what you see, then you may actually run into issues. You may find yourself running into issues. So just be careful. Just be careful about that. Now, so just as a quick mention, there's something that we've done to just protect the websites that we have within the servers. We have prevented someone from being able to access directly this link directly, the WP-admin, since it's what most WordPress websites have, and we have a lot of WordPress websites within our installations. We have prevented this link from being accessed directly. If you are facing issues where you try to click that, and it gives you what you're seeing. Let me show you what you're going to see. You see this, where it's showing forbidden. Don't worry, everything is still okay. It's just that we have prevented that link from being accessed directly. As you can see, the site is still being seen. You can be able to still load the site, but you are not able to log into the back end. Now that's deliberate. Now I'm going to make a quick edit on my end to just make sure that that's changed for us to continue using this. But I will mention to you that if you're facing that error yourself, I would like you to probably just talk to us. Talk to us on chat. We are going to there's a configuration that we'll need to change for your own site specifically, that will allow you to access your site on a specific domain that is not on a specific link that is not WP-admin. It it will allow you to be able to access it on a different one. So nothing is wrong with your site if you're seeing this happening. It's just that there's a small change that we have created. So I'd just like to make that edit quickly on my end so that I'm able to fix it, to fix that that issue that the issue that of this forbidden page. And so you'll give me a moment as I do so. Less than a minute, I should have fixed that. In the meantime, as we proceed, I would like to request if anyone has a question, please post it. I think I'm going to post that question. I'm going to be answering questions at this point. We are almost headed to the end of today's class. Tomorrow we're going to proceed to the other remaining section. Whatever we've talked, now setting up the actual site. So in case you have a question for me, please ask it so that I'm able to basically address the issues you may have. Just make sure that we are on the same page. I don't want to leave anyone behind. My goal is to be able to assist you to be able to be able to build an online shop for yourself. And I'm trying to make it as simple as possible. If you already have a lot of experience with WordPress, it may seem a bit basic for you, but we are doing this so that the people who do not understand how to do this can be able to follow step by step. And as we move along, we'll find some of the more complicated sections that you may have come to view along the way. But I hope that you're already learning. You're already learning a lot from this exercise so far. And I'm giving you my own basic skills, basic tricks on the way I normally go about things, so that you can be able to learn from me. But I'm also really keen on learning from you as well, because in this life, nobody has the exclusive rights to knowledge. The knowledge, I believe, is something that should be free, and having it available is something, making it like widely available is something that is a desire of mine. So I would also desire to learn as much from you as you will learn from me. So so I've made that quick fix, and I'm going to show you, just in case you encounter your own problem there, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So once you've gone to our once you've been you've come to us and asked us that you're not able to access your back end, you're going to view something like this. It's going to look you're going to allow your IP, specifically your IP, to be able to access that specific like WP admin. And with that, it's going to be basically we'll have made it easy for you to be able to get in. So if I click on this link again, it should allow me to get directly into that without giving me that forbidden error. Now that's something, if you're going to be building using our hosting, that's something that is built for your security, and you're going to encounter it. So in case you run into that issue, just give us a call, ask us to allow your IP to be able to access the WordPress backend, and you'll be able to come to a dashboard that will look like this. So basically, when you get in, your dashboard is going to look something like this. I'll try to reduce my own photo here, the video of my own image, so that you don't lose anything along the way. So when it's looking like this, as we come to the end of this, we're going to install the final plugins, the plugins that will help you build that shop. And then tomorrow we're going to then start configuring those plugins to be able to have that shop functionality added. So the first thing that you want to add is a theme. Just go to Appearance, then Theme. And so what I normally do, so what we want to add, let me explain what a theme is for someone who may not understand what themes are. A theme is a basic, it's a number of pieces of code that change the way your website looks and feels. So a theme affects how your website looks and feels. So we want to add a new theme that will be compatible with the kind of online shopping experience we want to create. And the theme that I personally recommend is a theme called Astra. I recommend the theme called Astra. So you just come, once you will come to themes, then add new. It will allow you to, and then you search here, just type the name Astra. That's AS. I think I need to zoom in again because you guys may not be seeing this really clearly. I think that's too zoomed in, so let me just zoom out slightly more. That way on the same, we're doing the same things. Yes, there we are. So what I'm using is Astra, and this is the one. So I'm going to install, click on install. Once I click on install, it's going to, basically it's going to change the way the website looked. Now you remember, this is the way, let's see, it's going to, yeah, this is the way the website looked before. Now when because let's see whether we have activated it. Okay, let's click on activate. Come back here and click on activate. So once it activates, what's going to happen is that this is going to look different. So let me refresh it and I'll show you how it's going to look. You see that the site has changed, not too much, but it's changed in terms of the way it looks. And don't worry, it looks plain. Yes, I know it's going to be. We're going to be able to make it look better. And again, this is not going to be an in-depth class. We did a lot more in-depth things in the other video, so you can go watch that. Go watch the video that we had done before. But this is the main way that we go about it. So now that we've activated this theme, now we have a number of other themes that are in here, which I would want us to deactivate. No, actually not to deactivate, to delete from our repository, because having things that you're not using is not a good idea. Again, for security reasons within your site, it's just good to just have a clean slate, and also just keeping your whole website organized. So you're deleting any superfluous extra things that may not make sense to have. So that's the first thing. So the next plugin thing you'll want to install after you've deleted those is just come to plugins, then add new. William Sambu is asking, how can I create my own WordPress theme so that the website looks and feels and appears exactly the way I want it to be? Now, you actually don't need to build a theme yourself. You can use what is called a theme builder. A theme builder is, and I explained that in the previous lesson. I would probably encourage you to go watch that. There are two main theme builders that I personally recommend. I recommend either using Elementor Pro. Even just basic Elementor will allow you to build a site that looks exactly the way you want it. And then the other one that I would also recommend is Divi. Divi is a WordPress theme that allows you to be able to make your website look exactly the way you want it to be. So Elementor, Elementor Pro, and Divi. And actually we are going to use Elementor for this. I'm going to do a few things on Elementor just to make the shop look nice. And I think as you follow along, you're going to see how that works. So William, I hope that answers your question. Please let me know if it's well answered. And if you have any other questions like William, please post them. I'm more than happy to answer. Now, the thing that makes some of these webinars really much better is when we are able to interact with each other. It makes it easier. It makes it like a much better experience when you're able to interact with each other other than just me speaking. So please ask questions. I think it will be of benefit to you. Something else, I know you've been here for a while, and I really thank you. Something you can do for me, just as a way that is going to help you also be notified of future videos. I'd like you to like this video right now and subscribe to this channel if you are not already. and then click the bell notification so that you'll be notified when we go live. In case you don't get notified via email, you'll be notified immediately we go live. So just do that for me right now. Just press the like button until it turns blue. Go to the subscribe button, just click on subscribe, and then there's a bell right next to it. Just click on that and you'll be notified every time we go live. Okay. So what you want to look for, you want to look for a number of plugins. So what are plugins? Plugins are things that allow you to be able to add functionality to your website. They add functionality to your website. Peter, you're asking a very good question. You are a graphics designer, and so you're asking, as a graphics designer, can I design a website in Photoshop and incorporate it into a WordPress theme? Now, what happens is, you can create it on Photoshop, use Adobe XD to translate it into like elements that you can take out, because you want to get those assets. Like let's say you created a pattern background, or let's say there are photos that you sized and like manipulated within Photoshop. Once you do the Photoshop mockup, take it to Adobe XD to be able to extract those assets, the assets that you have built. Then you can use Elementor. Now, I hope I'm not confusing you there. You can get a WordPress, like what we are doing right now with WordPress. You can then be able to install, install the Elementor theme, or the Elementor plugin that allows you to be able to thank you, Peter. Subscribed and bell rang. Yay. Thank you. So it will allow you to it will allow you to build a site that is exactly the same as your Photoshop illustration, because Elementor is actually a really powerful it's a very powerful tool for building within WordPress. So as long as you already have the assets, you can be able to translate that into your website using the Elementor builder. In case, guys, if I'm getting questions around how to build a website to look exactly the way you want it to be from mock up to final, if that's something you guys are interested in, just let me know. We can do a webinar about it, specifically on how I use XD and translate that into an actual design in the end. If that's something you're interested in, please let me know, and we're going to organize. Probably you can even do a challenge. We can do a website challenge where we are able to do it together. Okay. I just want to appreciate you guys. I can see you guys, James Kisinga, Marianne Jogona, Universe Explorer, Percy, Kalela. You guys have subscribed. Thank you. I can see your notifications. Asanteni sana. You will be notified as soon as we produce more content like this. So again, if you guys are interested in seeing how to build a website from mocking it up on something like Photoshop, and then bringing it into, like, making it look exactly the way it was looking on Photoshop, let me know. We can do that as the next webinar in the next time. Okay. Yes. So William Sambo, I'm seeing you're answering, and you're saying that you'll look into how to use Elementor in Divi. Yes, it's actually Divi. Divi is spelled as Divi. Yeah. Dominic, yes, I see your thumbs up right there. So I just want to continue here. I don't want to lose track. We were installing plugins, and we were saying plugins are things that allow you to build the kind of add functionality. For instance, we're going to be adding the online shopping functionality, and that's a functionality that you can add within this. Doshimoto's, karibu sana. Albert Mukiria, yes, you're interested into how to turn that into, okay. Let's see whether anyone else is interested. Please continue saying that, mentioning, because I'll use that feedback to know whether we have a critical mass of people who are interested in doing that. Okay. I want to add the online shopping functionality. So this is added through something called WooCommerce. That's WOOCO. Now the word commerce usually confuses me. I hope it's double M. Yes, I think I'm in the right direction. WooCommerce. David is saying yes. David Kiriga, looking forward to that. Yes, that's the second person. All right. Let's see whether anyone else is interested. I'm actually trying to get a poll, so let's see how many of you are interested. So right now what we're doing is adding WooCommerce capabilities. So you search for WooCommerce and say it and like clicked install. So it's installing. I'm seeing yes, Percy Kalela. Thank you. My hands together. I'm trying to avoid using a certain phrase that has become a bit infamous, but so thank you. I can see that's what you did. So it's installing the plugin. So that's one of the plugins that we want to install. There are other plugins that would be useful in here, but I don't want to confuse things. So the main plugin we're going to install here is WooCommerce. And the final one we're going to install is Elementor. Elementor. And it's spelled in that way. Elementor. Elementor. So Peter is interested, Doshimoto is interested, William Sambu interested. Yes. Universe Explorer interested. Perfect. I think we're going to do a challenge. Probably I can set you up to start doing this. We can do it as a challenge, and we're going to challenge each other together, and we can do that webinar soon. Just try and create the best mockup we can use. I think what we can do, probably so that it can be a collaborative effort, any one of you, in between the people who have said that they are interested, go to Adobe XD, create your own what do you call it? Create your own like mockup of a website. Get it ready with all of the assets. Then share that with us on Deep Africa. Once you share that with us within Deep Africa, we are going to choose one of them. Whoever is going to like give one that is going to be easy for us to use, we're going to use one of those, and I'm going to translate it into a design when we're going to do it together. So any one of you, I think we can set the deadline for next week. Next week, probably Tuesday. If you guys could have done that, probably you already have sites that you already mocked up. Then I can be able to translate your own designs into an actual site, with using Elementor, and we're going to do it together. Okay, so Elementor, we are adding the Elementor page builder, and which you've added there. We just want to click on install. I had noticed that there's an error that had sprung. We'll figure out what that error is. Now, one thing about doing web design is that you bump into very many errors along the way, and it's natural to bump into errors like those. So so it's something normal to encounter. So it's installing. Let's see whether it's actually going to finish the install. In the meantime, as that installs, or actually it's done. Okay, here we are. So let's just click on activate. So Manuel Sanders' question: if you'd like to create your own plugin, how do you add it to the site? Okay, adding it to the site is going to be simple. If you create your own plugin, you basically just come to, or if you have a plugin that is not within that WordPress place where you can search for, you can actually be able to upload your own plugin. Let me show you how. You will come to plugins, add new. That's what I've clicked. I've opened it here on a new tab. On the plugins, add new. And so with the plugins add new, you can be able to upload a plugin here. You see here? Should finish loading. So you can be able to upload a plugin like you see with this. So you can be able to add a plugin directly from here. Elijah Munyao, thank you for following. I appreciate you. So yes, you can be able to add your own plugin there. Now, if you want to learn how to create plugins, there are a lot of tutorials online on how to do so. You do need to have a bit of experience in programming for you to be able to do that, specifically with PHP programming. So just try that out. It may be an interesting way to go. You can try it out on a subdomain. The worst you can do is crash the site, which is not too bad. Don't do it on a live client site. You may find yourself having trouble there. But you do it on a subdomain, and you can try out building plugins. I will say it's not necessarily a very easy thing to do, but it's also not too hard because human beings are doing it. So why not try it out? But that's the way you would upload it. Okay. So now that we created the plugins, let's go to the install plugins. You remember we had added all of them. So just want to make sure that the WooCommerce was installed. Yes, it was, but it's not been activated. So you just go to the plugins and say activate. For Elementor, I had activated it, so it's already active. So what this does is it allows them to come alive, and you'll be able to see those tabs on the left-hand side here. So once you click on activate, especially for WooCommerce, it's going to take you to a section that is going to give you like specifics on. It's going to start asking you a number of questions about your shop, and that's what we are going to. That's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. I know today we've already gone about almost. We are at about the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to go past that because again, I don't want to make this video too long. But tomorrow we're going to pick up from here, where after we have activated the WooCommerce, what's the next step? The next step would be now configuring WooCommerce to be able to work in the Kenyan context. Like how do you set up things like shipping? How do you set up things like payments and so on? All of that is going to be in tomorrow's webinar. Tomorrow we're going to be coming back at the same time we began. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. The same place, same time, and so we're going to pick up from here where we are setting up. We are configuring the WooCommerce itself. I'm actually going to continue with the shop because the other one is already configured. We are going to configure this one pole together, and so that's where we're going to leave this at. That's where I want to end it. I don't know whether there are any questions that you guys have for me. If you guys have been here before, tell me whether this is better than what we had before. Is this experience good for you? Is it a better one than what we had before? Please let me know, because my goal is I want to make this better and better. Our webinar experiences to be better and better as we go along. So let us know if this is working for you. I want to end it soon, unless there are any other questions. I can see Teye Olwali. Hi, I hope I've not mispronounced your name. Karibu sana. Yes, you can get the video for today's class. It's actually on this particular link. I'm going to convert this into a video that you can be able to watch like later on. So yes, you're open to watching it, and it's going to be something that you're going to learn a lot from. I hope that you guys have learned a lot today. I am really grateful that you guys came and have stayed for now we are headed to 2 hours. Thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, that we can finish up what we've started. Tomorrow is going to be long. We're probably going to, because the goal would be to finish tomorrow, so it's probably going to be about a 2-hour video, roughly around 2 hours. So get set for that. In case you haven't started, Philip Ndegwa, thank you so much for subscribing. Asante sana. For anyone who has not yet taken advantage of the offer we've given, we're saying that we are going to give 50% off to be able to allow you to be able to buy your own domain name, a .co.ke domain name, to be able to follow along with what we are doing. Please go and try that out. Just go to deepafrica.com and chat with us, so that you're able to take advantage of whatever we are doing. Now, in case there are any, I'd actually advise anyone who is going to be here, even tomorrow, stick around to the end if you can, because most of the times, like, interesting questions come at the end of this, and I'm still open to. The reason I'm still making these comments now is just in case there's any question that comes along that I can be able to answer. But I want to thank you all for participating. I'm reading a few comments here. Thank you so much, Teye. Teye. Oh boy. Could you help us know whether we are pronouncing it correctly? Bwana Olwali. Thank you so much. Thank you, Universe Explorer. Thank you for tuning in. Asante sana. Morton Saulo, you are a veteran here. Asante sana. Let us know whether this is working better than the other one. I think that's what probably you're commenting on, that it's better. So thank you so much. I think I want to end it there. Asante sana. Have a wonderful day. I hope you're able to take advantage of what we've talked about and try using the things that we've talked about so that you can be able to build your own online shop. And I'm hoping to get more and more questions as we go along. Come prepared with questions. I would want to answer as many as I can so that you guys can be able to get the kind of website that you guys are looking for. Okay, so I want to end it there. David Kiriga is saying, great one, Tony. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate you. All right, so I want to end it there. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. Again, this is Deep Africa. Keep on creating. That's why I'm teaching you how to do these things so you can actually do them for yourself. So keep on creating. Remember, if you need us to do a website for you, we can do it for you if you're finding some of these things complicated. But again, that's why I'm giving this knowledge right here so that you can be able to learn and be able to proceed and be able to get something good. I'll just want to close with Marianne Jogona's comment. Thanks a lot. Aha moment on the subdomain bit and how you answered my initial question on how to protect the WP admin and log in on my end. Thanks in advance. Karibu sana. So you're asking, how do I protect WP admin? Okay, how you protect WP admin? Probably I can show you that quickly. Bwana Olwali, the offer is ending in a few seconds. When I close this, it's not going to be available. It's going to be available probably by tomorrow. Probably for you, if you want to talk to Lucy Aoko, just go to our website and just say I want to take advantage of the discount, because once we end the webinar the offer will not be available. So just go to the website and just say that I want to buy the .co.ke domain name. So just to answer your question, Marianne, how do you protect your WP admin? You just add a plugin. You'll add a plugin called and I promise I'm going to end it once I answer this question. I don't want to make it way longer than this, but thank you for asking that question, Marianne. The way you protect your WP admin is going to here and say hidden to hide. Actually, hide. It's hide WP admin. There's a specific plugin that helps you with that. So hide. Let's just do hide. It's going to come up. So you want to get this plugin. The reason I'm recommending it is because it has a large number of users and all of them have rated it 5 stars. So it must be really good. And it has worked for me. It's actually what I personally use. So you're going to install this, and once you install it, you're going to be able to choose what the domain name, what the extension is going to be. So once I activate it, I'm going to be able to activate and say, like, it's going to be like my admin probably is going to be something like wedding dress admin or something like that. You can choose your own unique admin, and that's how you can protect your WP admin from getting exploited. Okay, I want to end it there. Dan Munio, thank you for subscribing. I've seen your subscription. Thank you so much. Again, asanteni to all of you. See you tomorrow. Make sure you get to this point so that we can continue together. By the time we finish, by the time we are starting tomorrow, we're going to be on the same place so that we can finish together, that you're going to have an online shop that is ready. Okay, asanteni sana. Have a lovely day. And it's me, Anthony, and